Epic Universe new Battle at the Ministry attraction requires an almost impossible to get virtual line pass. Hello everybody, welcome. Scoring this virtual queue has been the biggest complaint so far about Epic Universe. But in this video, I am going to show you how I have been able to score this virtual line every single time. Battle with the Ministry is one of the brand new, hottest, and most popular rides at Epic Universe. It is simply put a game changer. For the most part, people are saying it is the best ride that has ever been created as a dark ride. Groundbreaking new technology and improvements on other systems, it is just something to behold. Not only is the queue absolutely out of this world, and from what I've heard, the queue itself can hold up to 7 hours of line for it. But right now, it is under a virtual line system. In order to ride this attraction, you have to have a virtual line. There is no standby option and there is no express pass for this ride. Now, from what we understand, the reason behind this virtual line need is not only because of how popular it is, but also it isn't quite up to full capacity yet. So we don't know how long the virtual line is going to last, but right now, you have to have this virtual line. The virtual line is similar to other virtual line and virtual queue systems that are used by other theme parks like Walt Disney World and even Universal. If you think of attractions like the Jimmy Fallon's experience there in Universal Studios, it has used a virtual line in the past. However, there are some differences that we're going to want to talk through. Let's start out by talking about the times you can get these tickets each day. In order to get the virtual line, there are only certain times of the day where the virtual line passes will drop. They become available for a very short window of time, currently at 11 a.m., 3 p.m., and 6 p.m. Now, those times have been known to change, but right now, those are the current times. Now, what you're going to want to do in order to check to see if any of the times have changed, you're going to need to go to the Universal Orlando app and you're going to check out the attraction page for Battle with the Ministry. And if you scroll down to the bottom, there is a section there that tells you when these virtual lines drop. Now, I will caveat that by saying these passes have not dropped exactly at 11 a.m., 3 p.m., or 6 p.m. I don't think even one time have I seen it take place. Usually it is delayed at some capacity. So it may drop at 301, 302, 305. It is not guaranteed to drop right then at the mark, unlike Disney World, where as soon as that second trips over to, say, 7 a.m. when the virtual queue for Guardians of the Galaxy used to be, it was available right then. And you had maybe 2 to 3 seconds to get that virtual line and it was gone. So there will be some variability when it drops, and we'll get to that in just a minute. Now, one of the big things that you're going to want to know about is that you do have to be in the park in order to get the virtual line. You don't have to be scanned into the park, and you currently don't even have to have a valid ticket or reservation for Epic Universe for that day. This is completely different from Disney, where Disney requires you to have a valid ticket and to be scanned into their park in order to get their 1 p.m. drop. The 7 a.m. drop, back when they had virtual queues, you could do from your comfort of your bed. So there's no real checking going on other than sort of IP address and the general geolocation of Epic Universe. So technically you could be outside of the park but in the area and still get virtual line. But basically you need to be in that space. Just to be on the safe side, you're going to want to be inside the park in some area. Now, this is very important to understand that these passes will be gone within seconds of them becoming available. This is not something where you're going to have a bunch of time to fumble with stuff and find where the virtual line is and adjust things and then finally settle on a time and then click it. You do any of that stuff and they're going to be gone. You'll have no chance of riding Battle with the Ministry. Now, there are only 3 big things that you have to pay attention to in order to get these virtual line passes. Number 1 is internet speed. Number 2 is how fast you choose. And number 3 is going to be how many phones you have. Let's start out with number 1. The most important one of all of these things is your internet speed. This is something you are going to want to check ahead of time and when you're in the park, and you're going to want to find where you have the best internet speed and whether it's Wi-Fi for you or it's LTE. The best way to do this is to download an app onto your phone, and it is called the Ookla, O-O-K-L-A Speed Test app. It is in the App Store. You can download this. and it is absolutely awesome. You're going to want to check this in multiple places in the park. When you run this speed test, it's going to tell you 3 primary things that you're going to want to pay attention to. 1, your download speed, 2, your upload speed, and 3, your ping. As you can see, when I was doing a test with a speed test on my phone, I was getting a very high download speed, which is 678 down. I got 500 up, and I had a ping of 6 milliseconds. Don't worry, we're going to talk about each one of these really quickly so you know what to look for. Now, I'm going to tell you these numbers are insane. Like, this is like crazy high-end internet connection speed because I did this from my home. And I have crazy fast internet. You do not need to hit these numbers in order to be in the running to get this Battle at the Ministry virtual queue. So the US average download speed is about 30 Mbps, which is megabits per second. Good is between 50 and 100 is what you're going to be looking for. And great is going to be anything over 200. 200 and above is for things like 4K streaming down to your device, high resolution video and things like that. 200 is going to be awesome, but anywhere between 50 and 100, you're going to be pretty good. So that's what you're looking at. You can see me, I was at 600, way above what's needed for Battle at the Ministry. So look between 50, anything above 50. 50 and above, you'll be good from a download speed. For upload speed, the US average is about 10 Mbps, and anything above 10 is going to be good. For ping, you're going to want anything below 30. So 10 to 30 is going to be a good range for your ping. You can see I was at 6, so I'm well within that. Anything higher above that, like higher above like 150, if you see a ping of 150 or higher, you're going to have some serious lag going on, and you probably have no shot at getting this virtual line. So this is something that you can test at home right now. While you're watching this video, download it, test it, see what you have at home, try it on your Wi-Fi, try it on your LTE, turn your Wi-Fi off and check to see which one's faster, probably your Wi-Fi if you have it. Now, when you're in the park, you're going to want to start with Wi-Fi. Get on the universal Wi-Fi and find a location that has good Wi-Fi signal. Good Wi-Fi signal is not going to be in places like standing in front of Battle at the Ministry. I do not recommend being one of the people that stands all right in front of the Battle at the Ministry, because you're not in a building, you're not in a structure, you're probably not near a Wi-Fi hotspot. Those are going to be inside buildings or really close to buildings where there's a lot of people, like maybe a Toadstool Cafe or something of that nature, Mead Hall, somewhere where Wi-Fi, there will be Wi-Fi routers in the buildings. Over at Epcot, for example, I can tell you that the Creation Shop, that main new store that they created in Epcot, that has the best internet speed from a Wi-Fi perspective. So you're going to be looking for some sort of store or building. I found a lot of good luck in restaurants and some of the stores that are going to be inside Wizarding World or even further away from Wizarding World is what I would recommend. The second thing you're going to want to do is then when you're in that same location, you're going to want to turn off your Wi-Fi and check your LTE. And this is going to be better when you're in the open. So you're going to want to be in an area that is not inside of a building so that you can get a better signal. So in a walkway, a general area, again, do not be around a bunch of other people. Standing right next to 50 other people waiting to try to hit this thing is not going to be a good situation. So throughout the day, whichever location is the best for you, it's going to vary because your LTE is going to be different, whether you're Verizon or Sprint or T-Mobile or whatever it is, you're going to get different speeds based on your carrier. And you're going to look for those numbers that we talked about. Find LTE or Wi-Fi, whichever one is better for you is the one I recommend going with. Now, I mentioned earlier that one of the big factors is how many phones you have. The more people you have trying to do this for you, the better off you're going to be and the better chance you're going to have. Some people may be on a different carrier even. What I recommend is that you have at least one person on Wi-Fi that has the best signal and you have one person on LTE that has the best signal, and you both try to get this virtual line. And here's the reason why. Because depending on how many people are trying to do this, and it's going to be a lot of people, probably half the people in the park, even though your Wi-Fi signal may be good when you tested it out earlier, when that virtual line drops at that time, you're going to have everybody else beaten on the same Wi-Fi trying to get it, and it's going to suck up all the bandwidth, and the speed is going to tank. The same thing's going to happen for LTE. A bunch of people are going to be trying to hit the virtual line, and your LTE bandwidth is gonna tank, especially if you're around a lot of people. So let's talk about what's next. This is the app. You're going to have the Universal Resort app, as I already mentioned. You're going to want to download that. You're going to want to sign in, log in, get everything connected on that. For the purposes of this video, we're going to say that you've already got all that done. You're already signed in. You're good, and all you need to do is follow these directions. As I mentioned, have multiple people trying. You can have multiple people on the same account, or you can have multiple people on separate accounts. It doesn't matter. You can all try simultaneously. So once you're on the Universal Resort app, and I'm going to tell you the easiest and fastest way to get there. You're going to be on the home page, and you're going to go to the map. Back down there in the bottom of the app, there is a map. You're going to click on that. And then up at the top, there's some filters. You're going to want to filter by venue and choose Epic Universe only. So take everything else off and choose Epic Universe. Once you're back on the map view, you're going to click the list view option to change it to the list so you can see all of them. Then you're going to scroll down and find Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. Now right here on the screen, it should say virtual line in the corner there of that little Battle at the Ministry tile. What I recommend here is there's a little heart right there in the corner. You're going to want to click on that heart. But go ahead, click on the heart. You're going to favorite that. Then you go into the Battle at the Ministry, go ahead and click on that, and it's going to take you into the attraction page. This is, again, where you can see the time drops when they're supposed to be expected down at the bottom. But up at the top, you should see virtual line, just to confirm that it is on virtual line. Otherwise, it would have a wait time here. Right down there, sort of to the left, you'll see virtual line not available, and it'll be a gray little like icon or button. This is the magic button. This is what you're going to be watching for at the time of the drops. Now here's where everybody makes a mistake, and here's what everybody is saying that's wrong. Everybody keeps saying go back and forth between the attraction page and the previous page. Back and forth, refreshing your page to get that virtual line button to show blue. This is incorrect. Going back and forth is not actually refreshing the page. The Universal app, the way it works is it auto refreshes every few seconds. It does it automatically no matter what page you're on. It just automatically does that. So going back and forth between the pages does not help you at all. This is not like the My Disney Experience app where there is a physical refresh where you can pull it down or you can click a refresh button. This is not like that. The Universal app does not have that, and flipping between pages does not refresh the page. So if you flip back and you get off of that page and the auto refresh happens and then you flip back to the previous page, you could miss out. You're going to be losing seconds. So don't do that. So what you're going to want to do is just sit right on this page, and you're going to be waiting for the time to drop. As soon as that time drops over, say it's the 11 a.m. one, you would see the button turn blue. It's like a lighter blue color, and it will say virtual line instead of virtual line not available. Now here's the trick. On that gray button, just stay on that screen and just start tapping the gray button. Just start hammering the gray button. Don't stop, just keep hitting it, because it will not drop right at 11 a.m. If it does, by some miracle, drop right at 11 a.m. when it's supposed to, that's cool. Boom. As soon as it turns blue, you will immediately shoot into the next page. You don't have to click back and forth and then find the spot and hit the button again. No, just start hammering the gray button. As soon as it does and you're already hammering it, you'll be on to the next page. That's the way to do it. You will get ahead of everybody. Now there is some variability here that you cannot control. I will give you the warning now, which is one of the biggest problems with the virtual line. As I said, the Universal app just sort of refreshes itself automatically, and there's no like refresh back and forth. That doesn't help. I've even been able to capture this in a video where I went from one page and then over to the next page, and I was going back and forth, and it was gray. Well, it stayed gray even though I had just gone back and forth, and it was gray, and then eventually it just turned blue automatically before I could even back to the previous page. Which just goes to confirm that the app is just refreshing itself automatically. But there is a few seconds where it's refreshing, and depending on the timing of your app refreshing automatically and somebody else's app, they may be a second or two ahead of you, and there is nothing you can do to control that. It's just going to be totally rolling the dice. But it doesn't matter, because these tickets, these virtual lines, do not disappear within 2 to 3 seconds. On average, they're 5 to 10 seconds, upwards of 30 seconds. It just depends. On the next page, there is the party members and the virtual times that are available. Now these virtual times, as soon as you click that blue button, they may look weird. There may only be one of them. There may be 3 of them to choose from. It's different every time. It depends on how fast things load and refresh. It just is what it is, and it may not work the first time. You're gonna wanna quickly change your party members to how many you need. Go over if you have to, just smash it a bunch. If you got 3 people and you end up with 4 or 5 because you smashed it really quick, who cares? It's fine. Let it go. It doesn't matter. And then quickly select a time. Do not pick the first time because everybody's picking the first time. Always go with the second, third, fourth, whatever option. If you have to, go to the last one, but always pick one of the later time options. I would recommend going as late as possible. That's going to give you your best chance of getting it on the first try. Now, if you click the time and it does not work and you get an error, click the time again. Click a different time. Keep clicking times over and over and over again. It doesn't mean that that time is actually expired. It just means that the server is basically crashing under the weight of everybody trying to click on it, and it's just bugging out. There are still times available. I also recommend toggling between the people in your party back and forth. So if you've got 4 people in your party, add a 5th and then go back to a 4. Add a 5th, go back to a 4. So go to a 5, hit a time. Go to a 4, hit a time. Go to a 5, hit a time. Back and forth if you wanted to try to refresh some of the times. Even if it says, sorry, there's no more available, keep trying. I say give it a few minutes, keep trying. After maybe 5 minutes, now's the time where you can say, I didn't end up getting it, but I'll hit it on the next drop. So the good thing about the next drops is that the party members will already be selected. That'll save you a second or two. You don't have to worry about how many people you have selected. It should remember that. You've already tried it once, you know how to do it, and the next time you go in, try another time. The later in the day it gets, the later the drops go. They seem to be a little bit easier to get than the first drop of the day. So if you didn't get it at 11, 3 should be a little bit easier, and 6 will be a little bit easier still. But again, as many people as you can have trying this, the better. The faster your internet speed and connection, the better. And not leaving that screen and just waiting to hit that button. Just keep smashing that gray button until it becomes blue. Those are going to be your biggest things that you need to do. Now, once you get the virtual queue, boom, you've got it. You're still going to come back at your time in that window, and you're still going to probably wait 20 to 60 minutes in line, providing it doesn't break down or have issues. So it won't be just sort of a walk-on. In most cases, sometimes you will just walk right on, but you still have a little bit of a wait. Now, there is one other method that you can try if this completely fails. I don't think it will fail unless you just had really bad internet speed. But if it absolutely fails, there's one other thing you can do, and this is kind of difficult, and I don't recommend doing it. If you've given up and you've exhausted all your times and you stay on that times window where it says how many party members and what times are available, stay on that screen as much as you can. And this is really difficult to do because iPhones, the Universal app, if you sort of like go to a different app, it can just refresh itself and then kick you back out to the beginning of the Universal Orlando app. But if you can get it to work and you can stay on that time thing as long as you possibly can for hours throughout the day and not do anything else and stay on there, even if you turn background app refresh off. I already turned mine off, but you can go into the settings, you can turn background app refresh off, and it'll keep your app from refreshing when you don't have it active. Even with that turned off, it still has a possibility that when you go back to your phone, it automatically kicked you back out to the Universal homepage and reloads the whole app. It is what it is. You can't control it. That's why I don't really recommend this. But if you can successfully keep that times window up all the way to the next drop, you can stay on that page. And right at the 3 p.m. drop, for example, you can just start toggling your party members. 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, whatever. As much as you can until you see the new times pop in. So you see, 3 to 4 or 4 to 5 or whatever. And then you can smash one of those times really quickly. That's a little bit, again, you get a little bit leg up on everybody else again because the toggling of party members does instantaneously refresh the page, unlike the other stuff that I talked about. But on that page, if you toggle party members, it refreshes the page. So it is a way to manually refresh that page and get those times as quick as possible. But again, it's really hard to pull off because the Universal app just keeps reloading to the homepage. However, as I mentioned, the longer you can stay on the times, the better. You don't have to even wait until the 3 p.m. If it's 11 o'clock and you weren't able to get it, if you could stay on that times thing as long as possible and keep trying those times over the next hour or 2 hours and keep clicking on them, sometimes new times do become available. They're not announced. It doesn't show you anywhere in the app. And if you're not on that times window, you can't get back to that times window. It's impossible. So you can't go back out because it will always say virtual unavailable. But if you stay on that times window, you can sort of toggle the party members and keep trying times throughout the day and just keep trying it. Phantom virtual lines suddenly become available just at random times throughout the day. And again, you could get one right then and there. All right, so that's it. That's the advice. I'm telling you, it is a pain. It's a struggle. We don't know if Virtual Line's going to stay. I think it's just going to be a short period of time where Virtual Line's going to be around, and then as soon as they can get Battle with the Ministry running to full capacity and everything's working great, they'll probably get rid of the Virtual Line. But for now, if you want to ride it, this is the only way to do it. So hopefully this video helped you out. Please come back and let me know in the comments if it worked out for you or not and what your advice was and how it worked for you. Love to hear from you. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this content. There's a lot of people probably want to know how to do this, and this is the best way to do it. Once again, thanks so much for watching. Until I see you next time, the noble way is the easy way. Bye-bye, everybody.